everyone. So, as many of you may already know, those of you who follow my channel and everything, I'm an Enneagram 9, and I just recently found that out after believing I was a 2-wing 3, and then starting to think that I was a 3-wing 2, and just a whole bunch of stuff like that. If you want to go check that whole journey out, including the sound bites of the actual profiling session that I had, you can check it out on my video, my Enneagram journey. But throughout that video and exploring this Enneagram type as the 9, the social 9, I quickly realized that I do this thing that the 9 is known for called narcotizing. Now, I, first of all, did not even know what the word narcotizing was. Narcotization, whatever, however you pronounce it. I didn't know what it was before looking into the 9 and everything. But essentially, it's when you're suppressing your needs or putting your needs to sleep and your desires to sleep so that you aren't really showing up as your best self or as your true full self. The reason why 9s often do that, especially in my case, is because they believe that if their desires do not align with other people's desires, then it can cause conflict, it can cause friction, things like that. And so they choose to, pretty much whenever desires show up, they grab the desire and put it to sleep. I would say that I'm extremely slow to anger. I'm a very chill, I'm a very happy, relaxed, good vibes type of dude. And I'm very patient. Like a lot of people describe me as patient. I describe myself as patient. I take pride in that patience and everything, and I'm very understanding as well. But one thing about the 9, which is the reason why they're in the gut triad or the anger triad, is because their relationship with anger, they kind of like suppress it so much so that it starts to come out in passive-aggressive manners. Because as they're narcotizing so often, they're putting it to sleep and all of that, and before you know it, they either throw it out in passive-aggressive manners, which if you watch my spontaneous speaking videos, I'm sure that a lot of you have caught on to a little bit of my passive-aggressiveness where I like throw out little jabs, I guess, at people in my life, kind of throwing shade and stuff like that. And after finding out about this passive-aggressive behavior that 9s tend to deal with, it was actually humorous to me to be like, oh shoot, I can't even deny that. That's definitely true. 9s tend to do this because they don't want to express that anger, especially as a social 9 who's an ENFJ in my case. If I allow myself to feel that fullness of the anger and then express it, I know how I'm like. I kid you not, people literally used to tell me straight up,
Denzel, do you ever get angry? I just want to see you angry one day.
I have at least 4 different people who come to mind who have said this, me growing up. Just straight up to my face. I didn't really understand why that was the case, but why would you want somebody who's always happy, who's always in a good mood or whatever, why would you want to see them angry? That doesn't make sense to me. But now that I'm understanding the 9 a little bit more and everything, it's like, okay, that's making a lot more sense. I can liken my experience in relationship with anger now that I've been kind of exploring it within the past few months. I found out that I was 9 in January. I can liken it to Teen Gohan when he was facing Cell, and how he was chosen by Goku himself to go against Cell because Goku knew that Gohan always had this internal anger problem that he suppressed, that it took Cell and Android 16, even the destruction of Android 16, to be able to finally allow Gohan to release it. And that's what even sprung Super Saiyan 2. But Gohan, in and of himself, most likely he was a 9 for sure. He hated fighting. he hated that type of conflict. He wanted peace. 9 is known as a peacemaker. You know, it's like, hey, let's not get hostile about this. Let's try and find an alternative way. Let's try and understand each other. Let's try and like think our way away from all of this. You know what I mean? Cell wanted to push Gohan. Cell was most likely a 3 or an 8. Actually, I'm pretty sure that Cell was a 3, now that I think about it. Especially thinking about perfect Cell and everything. But yeah, we all know what happened pretty much in that scene. And if you don't, then go ahead and watch this scene right now.
This next round will probably be the last one of the tournament. If you win it, Cell, there's no one left on this planet who can beat you. Gohan, you're up next! Come on!
What? Don't be foolish. If you couldn't defeat Cell, what makes you think Gohan can do it?
Piccolo, Gohan possesses incredible powers, the likes of which we've never seen before. It was revealed to me for the first time in the hyperbolic time chamber. Now, Gohan, this is your chance to bring peace back to the world.
Got it, Dad. I'll do my best.
You're a conceited child, full of nothing but fantasy. You might be lucky, however, because you'll probably be dead well before you discover fear.
Let's stop this. This senseless fighting is useless. I don't want to fight anymore. I hate killing as much as I hate you. I'm starting to understand why Dad said that only I could defeat you. Ever since I was a child, I've had trouble controlling my temper. Whenever I get angry, I get in fights and I have no control over my powers, and I never stop until the other person is incapable of fighting back. That's why Dad wanted me to fight.
That was a very nice monologue. But you don't expect me to be scared, after all. You are only a child, and just maybe your little speech has inspired me to anger you.
While trying to infuriate Gohan, Cell delivers a devastating blow to Android 16, and the Cell Juniors join in the fight too.
Stop! Stop it! Stop the fighting!
Gohan!
Huh? Was that you?
There is nothing wrong with fighting to bring about peace. Free your spirit as your anger rises. I know how you feel, but you can't hold back any longer. Give your big mouth a rest, you factory recall.
Gohan explodes.
I can't hold it back! You guys are dead!
You seem quite confident for a toddler. Do you actually think you stand a chance against me?
No question about it!
This can't be. This is ridiculous. You're a child! I won't be beaten by a kid!
So yeah, that's how I definitely can relate to my anger. Another way that I can relate to it is Clark Kent in Man of Steel, and that situation in the bar when he was defending a woman. And then, you know, some thugs tried to like mess with him and everything. And this man knew, Superman knew that he could just annihilate all of them within moments.
Wait a second, aren't you supposed to be here for the exercise?
No, they're changing the plans. I guess somebody found something strange on Ellesmere. Aircoms were making runs out there all week.
That rat hole, you gotta be kidding me.
I know, it's crazy, right? But the Americans are there too, lots of them.
Anything
They're
else?
calling it an anomalous object, whatever that means.
Back off, Leto. I'm serious.
Oh, come on, Chrissy.
Knock it off.
Sit down.
Let me go.
Hey, leave her alone, man.
Or what? Tough guy?
Or gonna have to ask you to leave.
I think I'll probably just leave when I'm good and ready.
But instead, he decided to like hold back his anger. He decided to hold back his power.
Oh, there he is.
It's not worth it, sweetie.
Hey, asshole, don't forget your tip. Steve Rack.
And then I guess the passive aggressiveness could come out when he finally decided to do that thing with the man's truck outside. And lastly, I believe that my anger can also be likened to Tyrion from Game of Thrones, especially when not only did he give his clap back to Joffrey, who had been pretty much bullying him the whole time at the wedding, right before Joffrey had his incident.
Well fought! Here you are. Champion's purse. Though, you're not the champion yet, are you? A true champion defeats all their challengers. Surely there are others out there who still dare to challenge my reign? Uncle, how about you? I'm sure they have a spare costume.
One taste of combat was enough for me, Your Grace. I would like to keep what remains of my face. I think you should fight him. This was but a poor imitation of your own bravery on the field of battle. I speak as a first-hand witness. Climb down from the high table with your new Valyrian sword, and show everyone how a true king wins his throne. Be careful, though. This one is clearly mad with lust. It would be a tragedy for the king to lose his virtue hours before his wedding night.
But then also another example would be when Tyrion went off at the court during his trial, when he finally decided to look back at everybody and just start like saying like, you know, I wish that I would have done this, and just like really start speaking like all of his anger and like expressing it in that manner where he just blew off the top.
Che. Please don't.
I am a whore. Remember? That was before he married Sansa. After that, all he wanted was her. But she wouldn't let him in her bed. So he promised to kill King Joffrey for her.
Father, I wish to confess. I wish to confess.
You wish to confess?
I saved you. I saved this city. all your worthless lives. I should have let Stannis kill you all.
Tyrion! Do you wish to confess?
Yes, Father. I'm guilty. Guilty. Is that what you want to hear?
You admit you poisoned the king?
No. Of that I'm innocent. I'm guilty of a far more monstrous crime. I'm guilty of being a dwarf.
You are not on trial for being a dwarf.
Oh, yes I am. I've been on trial for that my entire life.
Have you nothing to say in your defense?
Nothing but this. I did not do it. I did not kill Joffrey, but I wish that I had. Watching your vicious bastard die gave me more relief than 1,000 lying whores. I wish I was the monster you think I am. I wish I had enough poison for the whole pack of you. I would gladly give my life to watch you all swallow it.
Samarin! Samarin! Escort the prisoner back to his cell.
I will not give my life for Joffrey's murder, and I know I'll get no justice here, so I will let the gods decide my fate. I demand a trial by combat.
So yeah, my relationship with anger is pretty much just like all of the above, where I made a whole Twitter thread about this as well, but essentially I've always ran away from the emotion of anger, subconsciously. But like I said, I pride myself as someone who's very patient, who's very calm. I like the idea of people saying that, dang, Denzel, I can't even imagine you angry. You know, I can get annoyed and frustrated, and that's when my passive-aggressive tongue can come out. And even then, I often tell people that, not in a bragging way, but you know how like you play fight with children, and you know like you're supposed to like hit them lightly, and then when they hit you, you're like you know, and you kind of like pretend in that way. In the sense, figuratively, when it comes to verbal sparring, I see myself as somebody who's unable to play fight. And I thought that this was because it was an inferior TI kind of thing. Like just looking at that ENFJ brain model where it says knowledge on what makes people feel good and how to compliment them. So then inevitably you're gonna have the other side of the coin and like what makes people feel bad and how to really hurt their feelings. And it's like the biggest regions of the ENFJ model, you know, figuratively speaking. But I think that this is also in combination with my 9 suppressing, narcotizing behavior, where I subconsciously store all of this and it sounds bad, but I guess like I store this like anger and I narcotize and I put it to sleep, and I try to like, you know, push it away, like no, I'm not gonna let myself get upset about this. Oh, how could you do? You know what? Let's just stay calm. Maybe they just don't know better. You know, I just make all of these different excuses for that person, for these people, for these things. And then finally one day when things just get out of hand, I get out of pocket. This has happened a couple of times, you know, that I could remember, you know, with people who I would always say deserved it because it's always like the last straw for me is quite a lot of straws. I'm extremely forgiving, and I'm extremely understanding. I'm extremely patient, all of that. And so I feel like if I get to that point, the only reason why I feel bad is because now I actually have to get to that point, because it actually takes energy for me to get there. I do not enjoy going off on somebody. I don't just like, you know, look around and like wait for an opportunity to just lash out at somebody, you know what I mean? And kind of just like explode at them, you know what I mean? I try my best to kind of keep myself calm in that manner. I try to stay in like a Zen kind of mind state. I try to keep myself positive, try to understand situations. I look at things from different perspectives. I give people benefit of the doubt, stuff like that. And I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry about that. I'm on campus. But yeah, I try to give people like benefit of the doubt, all of that. But when I finally arrive at a certain point where the anger is just brimming, then instead of it coming out as like passive aggressiveness, it could come out as like just direct shade or just directness. Like, you know what? And it's always going to be in a strategic manner, especially being an FENI type. I'm rarely the type. I don't think I've ever directly attacked someone. It's always been in a kind of like sideways type of manner. Like, did he just say that? Like, me being facetious, if anything, is the biggest way of me doing that, which is a lot of that passive aggressiveness that comes out once again. Like, you know, for me asking questions, you know, like, you know, have you heard, I don't know, like, I can't even think of an example right now, which is just another thing. Like, I cannot go off on somebody on the spot. Like, I've had people ask me, like, oh, well, what would you say about me? And I'm like, I honestly don't know what I'd say about you, because it's kind of like this monster that I'm not able to access, or I'm not able to unlock and unleash until I'm actually pushed to that moment. Just like Gohan. You know, he wasn't able to go Super Saiyan 2 until Cell finally tried to do all of what he could to be able to push him to that point, because Cell wanted to see that side of him, and it took energy for Gohan to get there. And so, because I know how anger could be like, and how it could kind of like make me like lose control in this uncharted territory, then I've always feared hitting those piano keys, even if it felt like it was the right time, because I feared the collateral damage that it was gonna cause. So like, I could go off on you right now, or I could just be silent and I could just let you say whatever, and I could pretend like it's hurting me. I could actually let it hurt me, but I could still know that whatever I'd say back to you will be so much worse that you will just stop. There's no hope for us to become friends again. And at the end of the day, I'd rather lose the battle than lose the friendship. Jamila says that a lot of times when I have something witty or clever, or I had a quick anger rise up in me that I had to narcotize and put to sleep, she said that my lip quivers. I've never noticed this, and I guess I have to, like, you know, catch certain moments on video, maybe in the INFJ versus INFP video that I did with David and Albany, when I kind of threw the shade at David. Maybe it happened over there, I don't know.
But yeah, I would definitely say to come about more through dance and even through exercise.
David's a great dancer.
I'm
okay. Let me tell y'all, he's a great dancer. He won't say it.
But y'all don't realize, well, y'all probably do realize, he gasses everything.
I don't.
You been gassing her all day. Not that it wasn't.
But the thing is, but it's genuine. And it's
nobody saying he's not genuine. I'm not saying
I think it's genuine. I think it's true. I think what I do is I put a spotlight on things that are actually like good. So because I like being credible. First of all, David is very, very critical. So it's
not true. Okay, no, yeah, okay, fine.
It's
fine.
It's
not a bad thing.
Yeah. So yeah, David's very critical. So I'm actually very slow to even suggest movies to him or like overhype it or whatever. And because I always try and get into the perspective like other people. But I'm positive, looking at my audience, thinking of my audience, if they were to see you dance, that they would agree that you are a good dancer. You might not think that of yourself, but they would agree. So if me telling them that is, oh, David would be a great dancer, and I just put a spotlight on it, I don't really see that much as like gassing it, because it's not like hollow flattery. In the same sense of whatever things I had said to you today, I may have put a spotlight on it, I brought attention to it, but it's not like, oh, I'm just trying to like get something, or I'm just throwing hollow flattery out there. It's true. It's just that maybe somebody else wouldn't have said it, but I chose to put a spotlight on it. I definitely expressed some 9 passive aggressiveness in that video, but me and him are cool now. But yeah, this is something that I'm working on, continuing to understand my relationship with anger. And at the same time, also understanding that anger is not always a bad thing. That fire can be used to destroy things, but it can also be used to bring warmth. That it can also be used as passion in a way, you know? When you're angry about certain things, when you become indignant about certain things, like Jesus's righteous anger that he had in the temple, then you can use that type of anger as a passion to bring change. Like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was angry about racism, and he used that anger as fuel to bring change into the world. And so in the same sense, I believe that that's kind of like the anger that I try to tap into. I try, like whenever I do go into that territory, I try to channel it in that manner. And that way, I'll be able to actually use this anger in a way that I will not regret, and it'll actually be helpful to other people. The whole idea of anger, you know, being just used in a manipulative manner that, or not even necessarily manipulative manner, but just in a very aggressive manner that would destroy relationships and just bring down and tear down. I'm not with that whole thing. Even small things, once again, like I've been afraid my whole life of getting drunk because number one, I love to be conscious of whatever I'm saying, and so I don't want to be under any type of influence that, you know, I wake up later and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what? I said what? Or like people, even worse, people aren't telling me the things that I said. And then number two, which was another big thing, I'm afraid of, you know, random things. Like, not that I have any type of like resentment or anger toward Jamila, I'm positive of that. But, you know, I just seen things of like, you know, so many things of like people who get drunk and then they beat their wives and stuff like that, and I just cannot imagine doing that. And so I always said to people like, nah, like I don't want to get drunk because those 2 reasons. And that, I feel like that's another 9 thing for me, like not wanting to get drunk so that I can still keep control, like just in case, even if I'm not really an angry drunk just in case, if that's the case, I don't want that to be the case. So yeah, y'all let me know what you think about all this. Tell me if you relate. How do you relate to anger? Like, is it something that you just freely express? Is it something that you kind of like suppress? Have you seen it like just blow up at you, or like you blow up at other people out of nowhere, stuff like that? Let me know your thoughts. And once again, once again, like per usual, if you guys want life coaching, discipleship, if you want type clarifications, check the description below. Also, let me know. You can email me at dweezy2blessed@icloud.com, with the subject being whatever that you want from that. You know, relationship coaching, life coaching, type clarification, or discipleship. You know, biblical discipleship. I do all of the above. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you just want to talk, that's also cool too. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. And thanks for watching this video, and I'm looking forward to y'all's thoughts. Done.